Zach, man, it's another night. It's December 23rd. So appreciate you joining us for another episode of Impact ELR News and Reviews.
Yeah, that's
How's everything
Christmas
going, man?
Eve Eve.
What's that?
Christmas Eve Eve.
Yeah, man. Everything been going all right?
Oh yeah, yep.
Well, cool. Well, hey, not much happening in ELR right now, but let's just dive straight into it if you want to. What's coming up? Anything on your end?
No, just getting stuff ready for next season. We're supposed to have a meeting and discuss some more points and stuff here right after Christmas. Hopefully we'll get this unified, which is really going to help things, I think.
Gotcha. And that's a meeting of the ELR Max directors you're talking about?
It's national, uh, just like ELR East Coast or Southeast. It's gonna be everybody. Clay, I think Clay Roden of Longshot Cameras, he's kind of behind getting it organized, and we keep prodding them to keep it moving.
Well, nice. Yeah, well, good. I'm looking forward to that too, and maybe we can get a bigger consensus on what ELR is or how this whole thing is going to work. Um, so yeah, well, good, man. Been able to had any trigger time lately?
No, I'm actually taking a break from that. We just got out of hunting season and just getting. This is the time of year when I normally do my reloading and start getting brass prepped and sized and all that, so that when season's actually on, all I have to do is dump powder and seat bullets.
Well, nice. Yeah, we've been. I've got this Deep South ELR match coming up in January at Arena, and so we've been working on the registration for that. Clifton Williams and Tina and I have been sort of spearheading that, and that was a trip. We tried to do something different this year, and that was quite an experience. So we I won't say we learned how to do things, but we definitely learned how not to do things.
Right.
And yeah, it was. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know how much you know about Deep South. That's our focus is on new shooters. I know a lot of what you do at South Beaver Tactical is newer shooters,
Yep.
or with a
Yep.
focus on that. And so Deep South, when we were thinking about trying to make sure that we get new shooters in, we tried this whole thing where we were going to open 5 slots and we were going to open them at a certain time. And those 5 slots would be for shooters with 3 matches or less. And it would open at 5 o'clock. And the first 5 people to comment or reach out to us or communicate with us at 5 o'clock or after were the 5 that got it. And then we were going to let that be open for 2 days and then have another one where it was going to be 6 matches or less, and then have another one where it was going to be 8 matches or less, and then 10 spots that were going to be available for everybody, no matter how many matches you shot. But we just wanted to guarantee that we had spots open for newer shooters. And man, you talk about a mess. we we opened it at Facebook. We had people commenting, and God bless them. Some of them commented at 4:59 p.m., so that didn't count. Like we had to have timestamps, and I'm going in and checking everybody and trying to do it. And then the good news is we had a ton of interest. We had a ton of new
Right.
shooters who wanted to do it, and it was frustrating for the shooters. And like I said, we've learned how not to do it. We're going to try something different in the future that's not as hard on people having to come in and trying to be online exactly at 5 o'clock. But it did work. It did get us new shooters. I think we ended up expanding the match to a 2 day match, and we did that just so we could fit more shooters in the shorter winter days. And we were able to expand it. We had 25 slots, and we were able to expand it up to 30 or so. But we out of the 30 or so shooters in light class, I think we have 11 first time shooters have never shot an ELR match before. And then out of the heavy gun, which is 25 plus heavy gun shooters, we've got 2 or 3 that's their first time. So it, for all the frustration, I think it worked, which was awesome. Uh,
Yeah, anything you can do to make the numbers, get the numbers up, that's great. It's nice that you have people that want so many people want to get in it that they're causing that kind of bottleneck for you.
it was good. Like I said, it was super frustrating. I know it was frustrating for the shooters. It was frustrating for me. We will definitely do something different next time and guarantee new shooters a different spots a different way whether that's a random draw or something like that. But it did at least achieve what we had set out to achieve. So we're hoping that we didn't frustrate people too bad, and they'll keep trying to shoot with us. But we're looking forward to it now. Now that we're past that, it's all the planning and organizing, and we're really looking forward to getting that done. So it's you learn. ELR is new. We're trying to learn as we go. So but we did at least get a bunch of newer shooters.
So what's your
We've got
total looking like?
what's that now?
What's your total looking like?
I think we ended up with 30 shooters for light gun. If and if nobody drops out, you're always going to have some attrition. I usually count on about 10%. So we'll probably have a few shooters we lose, but we've got some people interested in filling those spots. And so I think we got 30 in light gun and I think 27 in heavy currently.
That's great. That's a great heavy count.
Yes, I couldn't believe heavy was going to have that kind of turnout. Like I was really, really happy for that. Heavy sometimes we struggle and why do you think we struggle with heavy in the East sometimes? I'd love
I
to
don't
hear your
know.
take.
I think the extra guns. I think it's a lot easier to get into light gun.
Mhm.
Uh, a lot of light guns can translate into long range hunting rifles and hunting rigs. Once you get into heavy gun, you're pretty much dedicated heavy gun ELR. Uh, and I think that's where you run into the biggest bottleneck with them is making that next big jump. I mean, nothing is cheap at that level. You've got more expensive actions, you've got more expensive brass to try to keep up, more expensive projectiles. A lot of your heavy guns is much more into the solids and shooting solid turn bullets. Some of those guys we scoff in light gun at about $1 a bullet. Those guys are $5, $6, $7 a bullet,
That's
and we're
right.
like, that's not a round, that's a bullet.
Yeah. It's the care and feeding of heavy gun is a whole different beast, for
Yeah, you
sure.
gotta love it.
Yeah, and it's awesome to behold. Some of those rifles are amazing, but it is definitely a whole different ball game. So
And the guys that pull the trigger too. Those, I mean, I think the other thing that probably hurts them a little bit is we have a hard time getting the distance here on the East Coast. You
yeah,
know, a lot of our heavy guns, they're only going to 24, 2,500 yards.
only yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Uh, and I think when these guys, the guys that are shooting heavy, they want to see 3,000 yards. Even though I think you and I both have had discussions, we talk about where is really practical to compete. And I think we'll talk about that in other episodes and
yeah,
going forward. What we think is practical for competing. And hit
yeah.
percentages.
I was about to say, spoiler alert, hit percentages. But we'll leave it at that for now. But the good news is, the way we're doing scorekeeping and all that now, we actually have data to back up a lot of stuff. And I'm looking forward to when we have those conversations in the future. That's going to be really enlightening, I think, for a lot of people and for us as well. We definitely don't have all the answers for sure.
Yeah, we want to make that transparent, because I think that's the biggest thing that scares the shooters. If they can't look at the numbers and come up with an answer or at least follow along in some format to get you to an answer, then it becomes like hocus pocus, and all of a sudden it's human nature. Well, somebody's got to be trying to pull something over on somebody, and it's not that's not the case. There's a lot of smart people that are working on trying to find a system that calculates and counts what we want to count, and at the same time does it so that you don't need a doctorate in mathematics to figure it out.
That's right. And we will probably have some longer discussions about scoring in the future, for sure. Let's see, coming up, what else we have on the calendar? We got the ELR Southeast match coming up. We're looking at the first weekend of February still. We haven't confirmed that, but that'll be in Pitts. That'll be I guess the second or third match of our season to count on kickoff.
Yep. Yep.
And then
Yeah.
as far as I know, some of this isn't ELR, but what have you got cooking at South Beaver Tactical?
Yeah, I just finished the schedule for that yesterday. I think some of you guys that are tuning in will start seeing that because I try to cross it over a little bit. Here that's really got where long range shooting started for me over at South Beaver. We're out of Darlington, PA, and we started with just 5 or 6 guys shooting KYL matches with Know Your Limits. We started it really simple for um, new shooters, and to try to get that scary, well, I don't want to compete, you know. So we bring them in and we try to get them used to, we get a lot of our shooters there. Man, I've never shot past 300 yards. I'm like, well, you're in luck. Today we start at 400, and we go out to 1260 there. We usually have 5 target racks at 5 different distances,
That's
and
cool.
we start. Everybody has to start on the big target and work your way down. So in other words, it's hit to move on, which keeps it level. So the meat eaters, as I would call them, can't go and start on the 4th or 5th target and start running up the points, and then the new guy doesn't even have a chance to
Right.
catch them because. So, but everybody has to stay, and that's where the know your limits comes on. We're not taking anybody's points. If you miss a shot, the know your limits is, hey, I know I need to stop at that 3rd target and not go for the 4th or the 5th one, and just keep getting the points, because you can stay there or you can back up, but you just can't advance. Uh, so they're 25 round matches, and we do some other fun stuff there at South
Yeah.
Beaver too to mix it up a little bit. But
A 25 round. I think that's a really good balance between getting to shoot a good bit, but also not burning through a ton of ammo and brass and everything real quickly. I think 25 is a good balance. I
right, and we've started 2 divisions. We have what we call tactical, which is really just a prone,
think.
uh, prone single bipod that attaches to the rifle, and then we have open, which is bench. You can choose either place to shoot. If you're a new shooter and you want to shoot at the bench, you can shoot at the bench and run whatever you brung. We do limit our calibers to uh, 300 and smaller, 30 caliber and under. And we do have some restrictions, mainly based off of foot pounds of energy, and that's just to save steel,
Yeah.
especially when you're shooting KYL and you get down the 4 and we laugh again. Our close targets 4, 5, 6, 7, 800 yards. When you're getting down to MOA and smaller targets, a lot of
Sure.
times our smallest targets only half MOA.
Oh wow. Yeah.
And some of those bigger calibers can expel a lot of energy on a half MOA target at 400 yards, or and of course we put a higher point value on those to get people to take the chance.
Right. Of
Uh,
course. Yeah.
a lot of shooters are gamblers, and that's really what keeps the playing field leveled out. Is the guys that can shoot are usually going to press their luck and go for those smaller targets, even though they know, if I was really chasing points, I need to stop, at that 3rd or 4th target and take the points, because it's not worth the size differential. But
Yeah.
we can't stop ourselves. We're moving on.
No, you feel like your rifle's shooting good. I mean, that's the beauty of those KYLs. I mean, you just want to get that you want to be able to say you cleaned it or you hit that smallest
Right.
target. Or yeah, that is the beauty of those. That's a brilliant setup. So um,
But yeah, that's what we do, and I guess that's what got me into the
mhm.
long range, starting there, and that's where I wet my feet a lot with the match directing, and just getting a small group of guys. We keep the entry fees low to get people to come out, and like I said, keep it down to 25 rounds.
Mhm.
We tell a lot of our guys now, come on, even if you're headed out, who doesn't have 25 rounds laying around? And if you're a new guy, you're going to go out and buy 2 boxes of shells. That's going to give you plenty to warm up with and shoot the match.
That's right. That's right.
And
Well,
KYLs are a good way to keep track of your dope.
oh yeah, 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 absolutely. I mean, it's forcing you to really know what you're doing and to be watching conditions.
Right.
That's a I'm usually not bold enough to shoot KYLs and stuff. I usually stop early. So, but hey, God hates a coward. As in the words of Matt Ryan. So let me ask you any equipment you want to discuss tonight? Anything you would want to talk about? I think
Yeah, I
we.
think one thing we got going is we just got a whole new set of cameras, thanks to Francis with American Rights Movement.
Right.
He went and sponsored us. We actually have 18 new Longshot camera
Man,
competition sets.
that's fantastic.
So we're going to be able to, I know any of you all that shot at Thunder Valley last year, we did really well, I thought, with the lights. But when you go with lights, you got to live and die by the lights. And if that light goes off, and you can prove it's not malfunctioning, you got to take it that it's a hit. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And
What any particular brand of lights you liked better? I know there's a couple of different options. There's the T1000s, there's the Caldwell, and there's the Hornady now, the hit indicators. Anything in particular you liked, or
we really fell into a niche where we were using the Caldwells a lot. One, they were pretty inexpensive.
right?
Uh, they take a hit pretty well. You can normally hit them more than once before you have an issue with them. Uh, I think the biggest problem we have with any of those is just like any kind of Velcro type uh, hit indicator. You have to worry about knocking them off.
Yeah,
But as far as functionality, um, I thought their sensitivity was pretty good. It was hard to get a false indication.
hmm
Uh, but at the same time, if you got a hit, they usually went off. And in our bigger targets with ELR, we would put multiple on. You know what I
oh
mean?
nice,
And
yeah,
and at their price point, somewhere between $20 on sale and $29 at regular price a piece, you could afford to double up on some, and it
sure,
wasn't a catastrophic failure if you lost the light. They're not $100 a piece.
right, right. Yeah, I mean, there are pros and cons to all of them. I agree. I think the Caldwells are really good. I've had a couple of those. The Hornady hit indicators, of course, much lower price point. Both of them are good on visibility. The Hornadys are very sensitive. Um, and that's one thing with, I guess, all of the lights is you can get those false positives. You can get a
Right,
T-post strike, a ground strike sometimes if they're sensitive enough. And like I say, when you're going by lights, if it goes off, it counts. The shooters are
right,
going, whether it was actually a hit or not. And I think that's probably the biggest advantage of the camera system is one, you get that more positive confirmation, especially down here and in the East in general, but especially down here in the South, looking through Mirage with spotting scopes, because that's your other option is use an optic to try to confirm impacts. And that can be a nightmare. Looking through Mirage, the targets will look like they're moving because the Mirage is thick, and spotters and shooters will believe the target's moving, especially on lighter cartridges at further distance. The target may not move much, and you believe the Mirage is actually the target moving. And when you've got that camera sitting 15, 20 feet away and you can see it on the screen and it just makes it that much easier. And the long shot system, I mean, that's the gold standard. That's from the single camera systems to I've got 10 myself that I use for our deep south events, and they're reliable. They are downrange. The con is there's a cost, and they are in the target. They're in the landing zone. They can't
right.
get and but long shot works with, especially with match directors, to replace them. I've been at 3 different matches where cameras have been hit, and they've always been fixed. I've had 2 of my own cameras. Thankfully, the cameras themselves haven't been hit, but the tripods have been hit. And you can replace that stuff. So, but I don't see any way of doing ELR at some of the ranges we're getting to without some sort of camera system at the target. I know the new long shots, and does the new system, does the one you have, does it have the microphones too?
Yes, it has the
Yeah,
microphones. They're using a much better receiver slash antenna
yeah,
now.
yeah.
Getting a much stronger, reliable system. Plus, when you get the match sets,
Mhm.
they're programming them all. The cameras come up. Our sets not only have the long shot camera uh, display screen, TV
Yeah,
screen, but we actually got ours with iPads, which is nice because if you have to start sharing cameras, as we found out last year, that'll make that much more adaptable. Plus, we've actually started using some of the Hawks.
yeah, right.
Their Hawk cameras are nice, Uh, if people don't know what those are a much lower price point, and they go on your existing spotting scope. And they're nice. Uh, I would say their effective range is probably really good to about a mile.
Yeah.
You know,
Depending on atmospherics and everything.
right? You know,
Yeah.
because you know, and the quality of spotting scope you've got.
Yeah.
Uh, if I had a downside to them, I would say sometimes they're sensitive. You got to have them on a good tripod, on a good. It's very easy to get them to try to resettle and blur if you're moving around. But in our situation, a lot of times your target's static.
Right.
It's not moving around, so you can put it on there, find it in your spotting scope, and sit on that particular target and watch it on the iPad, which is a nice, good size screen. I think they're so like 10 by 14 or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're a good size screen with good resolution. We used them this year long range deer hunting. I
Oh,
actually got a
nice.
couple of videos of hunters taking deer out over 600 yards, and man, just like watching on Dreary Outdoors.
Nice.
Uh, uh, they so
Pretty
they have
easy on
multiple uses.
pretty
What's
easy
that?
on video management and everything as far as
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Look
yep,
good.
yep,
Yeah.
yep. I was able to take them and then edit them. You know, like when we started long range hunting with them, uh, you could have really long videos, and they're made to record an entire match. I mean, uh, we used them some at Thunder Valley this year when uh, they brought them over and we were able to play with the Hawks. We didn't have the actual cameras set up yet, but they would use the Hawks. They have have like the shot spotter that they'll
Right.
put on the call up. The same thing will mark where it saw the change in the video is really what it's doing, and to mark the spot on the plate or just off the plate if you miss it, you know. And then a lot of times we were able to replay that for a shooter if he had a question. We're like, yeah, see here, you can see where it marked the shot, and it does a little shot blinker.
Right.
And that's even at the Hawk level that's available. The Hawks also have microphones in them now too.
Oh wow, that's cool.
So that was interesting. A lot of times, like as we were spotting for deer, you could hear us saying, "Okay, you know, yeah, that's a shooter. You know, he's 632 yards."
But
Talking to the shooter and getting them called in on it.
well, and that's really good data to have later. I mean, that's
Right.
fantastic to if you get used to saying your temperature, your wind call, your atmospherics while you're recording through it, man, that's fantastic data. I mean, you talk about a really useful tool for range sessions, hunting, everything. That's pretty cool. I had tried one of their Hawk cameras a while back. It wasn't exactly what I needed at the moment, but I'll probably try another one again.
Yeah,
Based on the what you're telling me.
I like the fact that they do have the picture in picture as well. Like especially if you're using
Nice.
the uh uh tablet, you
Yeah.
can call it up and you can actually turn the tablet to record you as a shooter. Like, you know, if
Oh,
you were
that's
shooting
nice.
your
Yeah.
5 shot string or your
Yeah.
10 shot string, it's watching you and seeing the target at the same time. So now you don't have to try to get two videos and sync them. You
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
actually have a video of you laying there behind the rifle watching what you're doing, and it's already in time with what you're seeing at the target. So
Okay. Yeah. That is.
that's a neat feature.
Yeah. Yeah. So now on the camera systems for the long range camera systems, not the Hawk, the target camera systems. Are you using iPads on those as well, right? For to view those or
You can
okay.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I we have both setups. We have like the multi-screen uh tablet type screen that comes in the competition kits, and
Right.
then we got an iPad for each of our kits as well. That way, if we ever had to break off as an individual camera per se, you know, or say we had two strings of light gun running,
Right.
and like I said, each kit has 6 cameras. You know,
Right.
three
Right.
cameras could be being used by Group A and 3 cameras by Group B. we don't have to sit behind the same monitor.
Right.
You can
Right.
use those iPads. Those iPads are synced as well to those each camera system. So Squad B could grab the iPad and watch
Yeah.
3 targets on 3 separate cameras at the same time that Squad A was using the other 3 in the regular screen. Much easier to sign into and not have to use the hand gestures like we were doing last year.
Right. Right, and we'll talk about that one at some point. That was an interesting use. I mean, hey, we made it work, and that's one thing ELR do is we tend to make it work. However, we have to do it.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, I guess shout out to Longshot for products that basically make ELR happen, and for to keep making products that make our jobs easier as match directors and spotters and all that. So we really appreciate what those guys are doing, and they're constantly innovating, and I appreciate that. I'm interested to
Yep.
see what the new year brings for them and what they offer for shooting. Uh, and it's good for everything. Like you say, range sessions, hunting, and for ELR. So
Right.
I appreciate that. Well, I was going to try a new segment real quick. Just something that I'm going to call it sucks to suck, right? And this is maybe a mistake. Maybe we can discuss something you've seen at a match that or that you've done. Mine will probably be examples that I've done that are probably not the best thing to do. So anything that springs to your mind right off the bat as far as sucks to suck.
Wrong dope.
Wrong dope. So
Uh,
that kills me. So I can give you my problem is always going to be dialing the windage the wrong way. Like I just cannot. I have had so many matches, and I'm using the same scope most of the time. Like it's not like I'm changing scopes a lot. It's just something about it. In the heat of a moment, I will
it's
dial
called
that.
dyslexia.
Yeah, that's right. I will dial that windage the wrong way in a heartbeat, and I know it as soon as I shoot. And there's and then now I'm dialing back. You talk about being on the clock, and like, wait a minute, was that wind? Was that me? I went, I was supposed to go 2 MOA, right? Which I'm still old fashioned. I'm MOA, but
Right.
and now I'm further left, and your spotter's confused. Hey, was that a wind gun? Where you're going the wrong way,
Right.
and it just makes you panic that much more because now you're trying to go back where you were and then add it the other way. Oh man, that's always that's my sucks to suck. It's always going to be windage for me.
Like I said, I get it on both. I get it elevation and windage. I think you and I see it a lot when you're running matches.
Yeah.
And you're trying to do the scoring, you're trying to be ready, you're trying not to be what's holding everything up, and you get down there and what target am I on? I was over on Squad B and they're on target 7 and 8, and we're still shooting 5 and 6 over here. Where are they on the hillside?
Yeah.
What's like you said, the windage. I come from PRS where we hold wind a lot, and still even an ELR if it's not a lot, I will usually, if it's under 2 mils, I'm usually gonna hold it, and if it goes over that, then I'll start dialing it. I don't like to have to cross that.
Right.
Where I
Right.
dialed two left, but by the end of a string, I'm holding a half right.
Right. Right.
But I have 2 left dialed in, and
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
so somebody comes off, and it's very innocent. Sometimes somebody go, "What were you using for wind?" And you're like, "Man, I don't want to lie to you. I'm trying to think what I was holding on top of what I had dialed, and do the I don't know. Look, you'll tell somebody, look at my rifle, because I don't know. I have whatever I had dialed on. I finished at this."
Right. Right. So let's go to our maybe our bolt, what we call our bolt close segment. And just for first time viewers, this is where we're going to have 4 minutes. I got a timer that the battery's not going to die on tonight, so I got my 4 minutes, right? And Zach, I'm going to ask you 5 questions. You've got 2 minutes to answer them. And then we're going to transition, and you ask me 5 questions. I've got 2 minutes. And we call this bolt close because in ELR matches, time starts when you close your bolt. And so I'm gonna start the timer, and I'm gonna ask you the first question for you. All right, timer, bolt closed. How do you have your ammo on the firing line? What do you do with your ammo at a match? on the firing line?
Uh, I for a long time was trying to do the PRS mag feed type thing.
Gotcha.
And I started having more hiccups, and I watched more people single feeding them. So I've over time have refined it a little bit to exactly that I lose count of how many rounds. So I try to set them out 5 and 5 now,
I
in
gotcha.
a separate ammo box, so that when I get to that fifth round, I'm like, okay, that's time to transition. Because like you said, and before the heat of the moment, you're like, did I fire 4 or did I fire 5? You find yourself doing that Clint Eastwood,
Yeah, Dirty
when
Harry.
when talk,
Yeah.
you're talking to the guy. I can't remember whether I fired 5 or 6. Do you feel lucky? And like you said, yeah, that can. So yeah, I've started to use uh like an ammo holder that allows me to put 10 rounds on the line, 5 ready to go,
Gotcha.
and go from there.
All right. Second question: shooting mat or no?
Yeah, I like to have a neat area where I know I'm not laying in the mud. I like keeping my brass. It makes it a little easier to pick up your brass if you're throwing it on the mat versus not the mat.
We got 30 seconds, so it's gonna have to go quick on this. You ready?
Yep.
All right. Piece of equipment that you bought but you no longer use in ELR. Is there something you thought you would use and didn't?
Uh, I think I play with more bags. I
Yeah.
discard bags faster. Try this bag versus that bag.
All right. 10 seconds. Last thing you check before firing.
Uh, Exhale and squeeze. Focus on that wind hold.
All right. And what are you getting anything ELR related for Christmas? 2 seconds.
No.
Okay. All right. Transition. You're five for me.
We'll do them in reverse for you.
Okay. All right.
What are you thinking or would like to get for Christmas, or do you think ELR needs for Christmas?
Yeah, I would probably. Well, we're hopefully going to address some of that. I'm thinking more unity, more unification. And I hope we're going to address that at some of the upcoming match directors meeting. More venues is always nice, but honestly, I guess the biggest thing I would wish for Christmas for ELR is more growth, more good growth.
Right.
That's gonna be the big challenge.
What's the last thing you check before firing?
Well, based on my sucks to suck, it should be windage, but it's normally, um, I guess normally the last thing I look at before my first shot is elevation, like seeing my elevation turret one more time, making I'm sure I'm on my right dope on elevation. So,
Right. Equipment that you bought that you don't use.
hmm. Um, I've gone through a bunch of bags. I've done that, and I think that's part of it. But I'm trying to think something that I really thought I would use that I no longer do. Yeah, I guess rear bags spring to mind the most. I've tried a bunch of different things: wedges, foam, different types of bags. But I've got my firing line kit fairly well pared down to just stuff I use now. So,
Yeah, we try not to
all
take
right,
too much stuff anyhow.
yep,
Do you
20
like a
seconds.
you like a shooting mat or no shooting mat?
I love a shooting mat, and I like to use mine if I can. I don't want to be particular, but I feel like you practice the way you play, and so I'm gonna try to use mine if I can.
And how do you align your ammo on the firing line?
Uh, I put it in 2 rows of 5 on the ground with the ammo case up there. All right, I just got it off. All right, we just got in, so out of time, but that was perfect timing. That's usually how I'm doing on the firing line too. Is my last shot is right at the end of the thing, right before the buzzer goes off.
I'm slowly getting there. Again, coming from the PRS ranks,
Yeah.
I started out, you give me 4 minutes and I'm all done. And my spotter's been trying to slow me down. He's like, I'm telling you, wait for the call, slow down.
Yeah.
You still have 3 minutes.
Yeah, yeah. I'm a big believer in a timer on the line and trying to pace myself. And so I'm a big fan of that. I like that last shot because yeah, when I first started, I'd rush it, and so I just made myself all right. Use your time. Make sure you're making a good trigger pull and using your time. So a brief recap. Got the upcoming match at Arena. You can find it on Deep South ELR on Facebook. We're currently full, but if you're interested, we can have some openings. If we have openings, you can join. We've got the ELR Southeast match coming up February we're thinking it's going to be the weekend, February 6th through 8th. But tune into the ELR Southeast Facebook page if you want updates there. Zach, what else you got coming up? Anything you want to mention at the end?
Nope. Like I said, just getting excited. I'm aiming for trying to be down at Pitts with you guys in
Nice.
February. Uh, and then we'll be off to Black Bear in March, and the season will be rolling.
Nice, nice. Yeah, I'm hoping maybe things work out where I can get to Black Bear one time this year. It's still a venue I want to shoot once.
It's a great venue. It really is.
All right. Well, hey, that'll wrap it up, and we'll work on another episode soon. If any of our viewers want to know more about something we've discussed, make sure you comment, give us a like, give us a subscribe, and we're just going to keep trying to do this and trying to spread the good word about ELR. So, Zach, I appreciate it again tonight, man, and y'all stay warm up there.